If you're using HighLevel to run funnels or websites or landing pages and you're in the UK or EU, you need a proper cookie consent banner. It's not a nice to have, it's a legal requirement. Hi there, Tim from Boost My Business here, and today I'll walk you through exactly what you need to know before setting it up and the types of cookies that you're probably using, which ones need consent, and what must be listed in your cookie policy. And no, we use cookies to improve your experience, just won't cut it anymore. In the UK, we follow PECR, which is the Privacy and Electronic Communications Regulations, which work alongside UK GDPR. In the rest of Europe, the e-Privacy Directive does a similar job, and they all basically say you must get consent before setting any cookies that aren't strictly necessary. You must clearly explain what each cookie does, and you must give users a way to accept or reject them. That means analytic cookies, marketing cookies, tracking pixels, they all need to wait until somebody clicks accept before loading. The good news is that HighLevel has a cookie consent banner that you can add to your pages, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to install and configure it shortly. While it's not perfect, it's a step in the right direction, but it does require some work if you want to be fully compliant. If you hang around until the end of the video as well, I'll give you my ultimate time-saving hack that takes all of this headache away. So when it comes to cookies, there are basically three main types that you need to know about. First up is essential cookies, and these are the cookies that are absolutely necessary for your website to function properly. Think login sessions, basic security features, etc. The good news is you don't need to ask permission for these. However, you should still tell users about them in your privacy policy or cookie policy. Second, we've got functional cookies. These enhance user experience but aren't strictly necessary. Things like remembering language preferences or form data, that sort of stuff. For these, you need to inform users that you use them, but we've got a little bit of flexibility here. Third is non-essential cookies, and this is where it gets strict. These include analytics cookies like Google Analytics, marketing cookies like Facebook's Pixel, advertising cookies, and any third-party tracking. For these, you must get explicit consent before the cookies are set. No pre-tick boxes, no implied consent. Users need to actively say yes. The key thing to remember here, under PECR in the UK and GDPR in the EU, you can't just assume consent. You need to clearly explain what cookies you're using, why you're using them, and give users a real control over their choices. Let's dive into HighLevel now and start setting up our cookie banner. Here I am inside of the HighLevel funnel builder. You find it in websites as well. What we're looking for is this little cookie consent button here. You just need to give that a click and a menu will appear over here on the right. And first up, we're just going to click Enable Cookie Consent Banner. Now, basically some instructions here, but just give them a tick for now and click Agree. And at the bottom now, you can see that we've got this sort of example of what our cookie banner is going to look like. First, you can see we're inside the General Settings tab. Our first choice down here, if I head down to General Settings, is the compliance type. Now, heads up, do not select Don't Ask. This option is not GDPR compliant. Under GDPR, you must gain consent for certain cookies. So make sure you stick with the ask to opt in option, and because don't ask, don't cut it. Underneath, you can sort of customize the wording of these buttons here. And then below that, we've got the ability to update or edit the text that you see here. You can change that if you want, but the thing that you really need to sort out is this link to your own policy here. We need to turn this on. It needs to be enabled. If people are consenting to something, they need to be able to see what they are consenting to. That's part of GDPR. You can't rely on a privacy policy link in the footer of your page, as it's not there at the point of consent, and very likely it's probably hidden below this cookie banner. So you must have this set to link your own policy. A link will appear over here, which users can click to visit the policy. So make sure you put your privacy policy in there, and you can edit the text for learn more as well. Now, a little bit about the privacy policy. Every website needs a privacy policy that talks about how you're going to use people's data. Now, a lot of people have cookie policies as well. So you don't under GDPR, you don't technically need a cookie policy. It's not a technical requirement. However, if you don't have a standalone cookie policy, the information that you would generally include in the cookie policy needs to go in the privacy policy instead. We're going to cover what needs to go inside your cookie privacy policy later. Just a little heads up that you can either have a cookie policy and a privacy policy, or a privacy policy that contains your cookie information. Underneath, we've got our styling options. I'm just going to open that up. And from here, we can change the font of our cookie bar. We can change the color of the banner and so forth. So what I'd do is either go straight up black and white, nice and simple, or style it to the brand of your business. Underneath that, we've got advanced settings. Inside of there, you can see consent expiration. Basically, the expiration is the expiration of this particular banner. So if someone clicks accept or accept essential, when it is the next time that they will see this banner? It's set to 14 days as default. I'd leave it at that. If you are going to change it, never go longer than 1 year. Finally, we have region settings right at the bottom. Now, this is a new feature, actually. It's where you can turn on and off the cookie banner for specific areas. So if you're just trying to behave in the EU and UK, you could just display it only for those sort of users. I personally prefer to go worldwide. There are laws around the world as well. LGPD in Brazil, CCPA in the US. I'd just say leave it switched on to worldwide. You can get really granular and select different countries if you want. Entirely up to you. It's your call when it comes to this. There is obviously an argument that despite how annoying these banners actually are, they do make your site seem more professional, and users actually like being able to make a choice about their cookies. So yeah, it's kind of starting off the relationship in a good way by saying, hey, we respect your privacy. It can have its benefits by showing it to everyone, so that they know that you care about this sort of stuff and you're a professional outfit. Right, next tab along is layout. Now, this is very basic and simple. It's just where your banner is going to appear. I'm a big fan of bottom, top, or right floating, to be honest. I think they're quite nice, but again, it's just an aesthetic preference. You go with what you want. Our final tab is the cookie list. Now, this is the tricky one. You'll see this pop up appear here on the screen, and let me just show you this button over here. If we click show customize button, if I turn that on and head back to general, you can see we've now got a third button appearing here, and when a user clicks that button, they will then see this pop-up appear in front of them. Inside the settings, under preference pop-up, you can edit the text, edit the names of the buttons, and under styling options, you can change the colors as well. So there's pretty much same sort of features you'd find under general. It's just styling this specific pop-up window here. The important bit is this bit below. This is HighLevel's version of a CMP, which is a consent management platform. We'll pause here to assess if this is actually needed, because technically and legally, from a GDPR perspective, it is not required. What this CMP here is a granular system that allows users to choose what type of cookie they're happy with. It's nice to give them a choice, but there's a bit of grunt work that goes into populating this correctly. You see, the basic cookie banner, if I turn that off, this basic cookie banner here, it does the requirements of GDPR compliance. What we're doing is we're asking the question down here. We're saying, look, we're going to load our essential cookies anyway. Do you want all the other cookies? So you're actually giving somebody the option to opt in or out of your non-essential cookies, which is what GDPR asks you to do. Job done. With the customize option, turn that on again. We're just giving the option. We're giving them the granular option to turn off certain types of cookies, and yeah, you'll get GDPR brownie points for this. But the reason I'm hesitant is, if you want this to work properly, you need to come into each of these and add in the cookies like so. So we've got to put. I'll just give you an example here, just to pop in. You have to actually populate and save, and you will see. I'll turn that functional one over here. We've got sort of the option in here, so people can actually look in and see what cookies and toggle on and off whichever ones of these that you've enabled. Now, This cookie information, you've got to go and find it yourself. You've got to go and dig it out. And if you don't use this CMP to do this here for your non-essential cookies, you need to add them to your cookie policy. So there needs to be somewhere on your website that describes the details that you can see here. Now, the reason I don't suggest doing this is because for every funnel and every website that you have, you'll have to come in and individually set this up. So you'll have to style it all again. You'll have to enter in all the cookies. It's if you've got 20 funnels and 5 websites, it's just a bit of a pain. So what I say is to put this data inside of your cookie policy or privacy policy if you're going that route, and then it's just there once. Doesn't need editing, doesn't need changing. Well, if it does need editing, it can be done from one place. And all the information is contained on one page where a user can find it if they want. So I would turn off this customize button and just stick with this cookie banner here, as it is GDPR compliant. So yeah, sorry, but you do need to put your cookie information on your website for people to view. And you can either do that in your privacy policy or put it in your CMP. It just needs to be somewhere. But what cookies are you using? Well, if you've installed Facebook Pixel or using something like Google Analytics, well, they'll be using cookies. I'm going to show you now a couple of methods in which you can find out what your cookies are. The first is if you head to the website CookieYes.com. On here, they have under resources a cookie checker. And what you can actually do is enter in a URL here and click check cookies. And what it'll do, it'll crawl the URL and tell you what cookies you actually have on there. Now, this only is available to do once, so don't waste it if you're doing it. And it only actually scans your homepage. So while it might not actually get all the cookies that you need, it's going to give you the main ones, and you can add those into your cookie policy. So look down here, we've got a bunch of different cookies, and that's perfect. So you need to take this information, either put it inside of your CMP, or take this information and put it on your cookie policy page. So that's a really useful way. I mean, you don't need to list literally every cookie. I mean, let's take a quick look at the essential cookies that HighLevel actually installs on your system. And as you can see, there's a ton of them now. It would be a nightmare to try and put that into your essentials list inside your CMP and list it on your. So good news is you don't have to include all of these inside of your cookie policy or CMP. In your cookie policy, you can just write, we use essential cookies in order to make our site work. And that covers that. Thankfully, you don't have to list them. But important ones, Facebook ones here, Google ones, you need to make sure you put these somewhere people can see them. I'll just show you quickly my cookie policy. As you can see, I have put these non-essential cookies into sections. So we've got analytic cookies, and I put them in a grid here. Advertising cookies, put them in a grid here. One useful hack, actually, if you copy all of these and just go into ChatGPT and just say, can you split these into the various types of groups? And if we just pop back into here, so the types of groups being sort of functional, analytics, performance, advertising, so forth. Dear Mr. ChatGPT, can you split these into groups and give me some tables that I can easily paste into my website? That's a nice little hack just to make life a little bit simpler. Secondary hack, if you're using Chrome or any other browser, really, you'll be able to find in the Chrome, it's called the Developers Tools Inspector. And what you can do, you can click that. And inside of the Dev Tools, if you look under Application, you'll actually see that it lists all of the cookies in here. So that'll enable you to, again, get all the information that you need about the cookies in order to list them. So that's a secondary way of getting your cookie data. So all done with the cookie consent? No. If I head back into my cookie banner, you can see this little info box here. It says, if you're planning to use any analytics tools like Pixel, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager in this funnel, please refer to this link to get the appropriate code supported by the cookie banner. I'm going to give that link a click, and basically what this page says is in order for the banner to work in sync with Pixel and Google and stuff like that, we need to remove the no script tags from our codes that we've got from Facebook and Google and replace them with the codes that are supplied here. Looks confusing, sounds confusing, but it's really easy to do, and I'll show you how to do that now. But this is also a requirement of GDPR, because what's happening is, because some of these scripts from Facebook and Google, they're loading themselves automatically regardless of the cookie consent banner. So in order to make it actually work in a compliant way, we need to edit our code in order to make sure that these cookies will only load after somebody has clicked on the cookie banner to accept them. So I've come out of the page builder now up to the overview sort of look, and what we need to do is we need to go into settings. This is just an example site I've got set up here, and I'm just going to expand out this head tracking code section here, and you can see inside of here I have my Google tag and my Facebook pixel code as well. So these are the codes that I've copied from Google and copied from Facebook and just pasted into my head tracking code section. And we need to edit these so that they work in conjunction with the HighLevel method. So I'm just going to head back to this page. I'm going to grab all of this script here, just copy that. And I'm just going to space out a little bit down here and paste in my new Facebook stuff here. And what we're looking for is, if inside the new code, you can see here it says your pixel ID goes here. So I need to head back to my old existing code, grab my pixel ID, copy that, and then paste it into here. Make sure you get the brackets removed as well. Paste that in there. And then I can actually delete that out. Delete out the old one. And now I've got my new HighLevel compliant Facebook pixel code. I need to do the same for Google. So head back to here, grab all of this script, and if I just paste that in there, and you can see this, what I've just pasted in. We've got our old one up here. What I've just pasted it in, it says it's asking for the tag ID. So if I head back to the old one, grab my tag ID, like so, come down, and it needs to be pasted in there, and pasted in there too. And then I can go in and just delete out the old code. And once done, yep, that's fine. Just come down and click save. And there you go. That's actually now made your Google and Facebook load after the cookie consent banner has done its job. So you are now definitely GDPR compliant. If you don't do this step, there's potential that these codes could fire anyway before you've got consent, and then you are in breach of GDPR. And there you go. Perfect. You're all set. Congrats on making it through the video. That did get a bit tricky. If you've been running HighLevel pages without a proper cookie setup, well, now it's time to fix that. It's not just about compliance, it's about trust. You've got everything you need now, after watching this video, to set up a proper working GDPR compliant cookie banner. It might seem like a lot of work, and it is, but being compliant is an important and serious matter. It's so important. Here's my top tip to relieve you of these headaches and hard work. And that tip is, invest in a full CMP from a company that does this for a living and has checked and cross-checked their systems to ensure full compliance. A couple of these I've found best in the market are CookieYes, which we saw earlier, and CookieBot by Usercentrics. I'll be honest, they're better than HighLevel's own version. They have a bunch of additional features that HighLevel does not, and sorry, HighLevel, they're just better at doing the job of consent management platform. I have, in fact, included my affiliate links to these below. Please give them a click before you go sign up, as it enables me to continue making awesome videos like these. Don't forget to check out my other videos on GDPR. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.